against Hikaru Nakamura here in just a moment. So we said it before the round started. These guys had 50 classical battles, now 51 including today. And here, I don't know how many Armageddon battles they've had, but they've had a lot of rapid and blitz, and they know how to move those pieces.
They sure know. And I think we need to jump straight into the game, where, just as a reminder, he has 3 minutes more on the clock. He starts with 10 minutes against Hikaru's 7 minutes, but Hikaru has draw odds with the black pieces. So in case of a draw, it counts as a victory for Hikaru. And yeah, what can we tell about the opening, David? Are you surprised?
First of all, some huge mind games, because Hikaru actually played this slightly dubious branch of the Sicilian against Fabiano at the Candidates tournament. It had a terrible reputation until Nakamura revived it. He was worse in that game. He was actually almost losing at some point, held the draw. I believe that was at the beginning, round 1 of the Candidates. So interesting that he would repeat here, Danny. Mind games already.
Yeah, mind games, maybe hoping that it would be unexpected. From a preparation standpoint, we see Fabi just thinking a little bit, but look, this is going to be a 3-result position. So if you're Fabiano Caruana, you're happy about that, right? Because you're going to get some crazy chess in these Sveshnikovs. The light squares are a mess. Both sides have action they can play for, really on both sides of the board. So that's what the Sicilian's all about. This is going to be a wild one.
I certainly think he's happy for the title position, but he is using a bit more time than what he normally would have if it wasn't for the surprise. So I think Hikaru did manage to start chipping some of Fabi's time advantage away.
Magnus Carlsen-esque there, David, right? Magnus also managed to play an opening that got Liren kind of thinking and threw him off. It was in English. If you missed that, again, shame on you. But it was an epic game that Magnus found a way to draw comfortably with black. Will Hikaru got to do the same thing here, David? What are your thoughts about that last move?
Yeah, bishop e3, very logical move. There's now pressure, however, on the white central pawn, so a decision needs to be made. You just play a move like pawn to f3. I was going to say bishop f3, maybe the other main option, but the bishop is slightly clumsy on this square. The white knight now, after this last move, shut down. Really classical approach here, g6. Just keeps the white knight's jumping points under watchful gaze. So yeah, I was going to say there's 2 strategies in Armageddon, especially when you're black. One is you play super solid, correct chess, where you allow your opponent to rattle out 25 moves of theory, but you know fundamentally you're solid. Or you play something like this, which is really double-edged, but hope that you're slightly quicker than your opponent. And Magnus, Hikaru, they're both going for it.
Yeah, interesting to see that they prefer the slightly more dubious or riskier, more dynamic variations when all they need is a draw. At the same time, it's for what you mentioned us about the mind games, the memories from the Candidates tournament where Hikaru did win their mini match, 1.5-half against Fabiano. So h5 is now on the board, pointing out that the g3 knight is going to be tickled with h4 and have to go back.
Yeah, it comes hurry. I was going to say, if it does, then e4 falls, right? The knight gets tickled, and the pawn suffers the consequences if it has to retreat. I'm liking Hikaru's approach here. That's not something that's tenable in the format. Black wins on a draw.
Hikaru shaking his head. What does that tell us, Daddy?
I think Hikaru maybe knows Queen f4 was a slight inaccuracy. You can tell from that, but he also still knows that he's better.
Yeah, and if White's reduced to playing moves like pawn to h3, it's a pretty sad situation.
Oh, sad it is.
Okay, how to close it out? Rook to d6 protects everything. White is stuck. That's the big problem here, Daddy.
Just highlight that the knight can't take e4. If knight takes, rook to e1 is checkmate or large amounts of material. And if you take with the queen, similarly, the rook goes to d1 first, and then if the knight recaptures, the queen is lost on e4. So just so everyone may be staring at that pawn going, what's going on here? Some of you viewers still watch this straight up and aren't just watching with an engine, judging like an armchair engine quarterback. But there you go. So that's the reason why White is stuck, and why Fabiano is about to get under 30 seconds.
It's stuck on time as well. This is now a bullet game. There's no increment until they complete move 40. They are move 34 at the moment, so Fabi really has to make a move.
20 seconds. Brings his rook back to g1. I thought he was actually going to try and run with his king towards the corner, then opening up ideas of taking the e4 pawn, but Hikaru shakes his head or frowns.
But where's the win for Black? I'm like, okay, you plays a5. What a move, because now b4 is a threat. If the knight moves, rook d1 is mate.
Yeah, it seems like b4 is unstoppable, and if you push the knight away, there's no longer any defense for White.
Fabi was shaking his head. Desperation now. He's got to try and keep his knight on that square, but it's suddenly loose. Any check is going to be checkmate. Background.
Is rook a6? Any check, that's good enough.
I was looking at the rook list as well. It looks like you just come in through the a file, and the knight can no longer prevent it. The knight is guarding the d1 square, but it cannot prevent you from going to a1. Oh,
Hikaru backs up. What's his idea?
wait.
Oh, okay, but it's...
Oh no, but now rook d1.
And he wins though. There must have been some crazy idea there. We'll have to check it. But from a pressure perspective, from a human perspective, that human being got it done with Black. Hikaru Nakamura is our second winner in the men's section, joining Magnus Carlsen. Got the job done.